mentorship. I like that. She has 12 years experience working with children in the development and educational sector. Please welcome my guest, Marybeth Chima. Hi, Marybeth.
Good afternoon, Auntie. It's nice to be here again.
Thank you, and it's nice to have you.
Yeah.
And thank you that despite the present challenge you're going through, you still find time to be on our set.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so back to school.
How
do we prepare our children to go back to school? Many of us are happy they're going back. We have my
the children are super excited to go back to school. We noticed that they just want to go back. 6 months is a long time. It's a long time. So, I mean, if you're like me, I'm sure you've checked a lot of things like bags, check, school uniform, check, lunchbox and all of that. And that's what most of us do, and we leave it there. We leave it there. We just do all of that and we say, okay, they're ready for school. And we forget that there are other parts, right? Other things that we need to put in place as parents. If we're going to have a year that is different from what we've had in the past, or if we're going to have a year that this time the children will excel. I have 2 kids.
So it's not just going back to school, but putting in your mind that, okay, what are my expectations for my children?
Exactly. In fact, that's the question, Auntie Timothy. You need to ask that question first before you can even do anything for your kids. So I wonder how we as parents, the school would do everything for the kids, like learning and all of that, what keeps them safe in school. As a school, your school won't sit down for for each child, right, and create some sort of a goal, like what can I achieve with this child? Now, as parents, that's what we need to do. So at the beginning of the school year, you need to sit and say to yourself, you see this child, what do I need to, what can we achieve? Because you're a team.
Okay, it's a partnership.
Yeah, it's a partnership.
Okay,
yes.
so
the moment we start looking at it that way as parents, like, okay, I'm not lording it over this child, right? And this child is not on this journey alone. It's my responsibility to guide the child. Now, what goal can we create for this school year? You should have an ultimate goal that is for a lifetime, but what part of that goal are we going to achieve for this school year? As soon as you can pen that down.
Once I have my expectation, I also have to ask the child,
what are your expectations and all of that. And if you started on this journey early talking about expectations, you'll find that most times your expectations are, they're similar, basically, because you've been riding on this journey together. That's what we miss as parents, not riding with them. When we ride with them, you find that there's a synergy. So our expectations are pretty much, in synergy, because we are, when we're intentional, you will not lord it over them. So you're listening to them and they're listening to you. At the point you get that, then you need to create some sort of a goal for the school year that goes beyond just lunchbox, food, and how cool they look in school.
And you must pass.
You must pass, but
it's not just only exactly. This is what you do,
You must pass is a given when all these things are in place. And that's what we keep missing, thinking we must pass is an isolation. It's not supposed to be in isolation. When these other things are in place, the child doesn't have any option but to pass without even making we're not making like real stress,
because there is a plan.
There is a plan. There is a strategy. There's a plan. And as you follow it through, you find out with ease the child just does well. So these tips are for us to ensure that our children do excellent this school year.
Some parents will be wondering, so I need to do all this preparation before. Okay, now maybe some people didn't really think about it, but that's the truth. They didn't really think about it. Some of them were like, God, when will school open, let these children go. I can't wait to get you to go.
Exactly.
So that is predominantly in their minds. And then the second thought is, oh my God, school fees, got to pay. And how do I get the students to wake up in the morning to begin this journey? So tip number 1 is like a pre-preparation, which is setting the goals, setting the expectations,
absolutely,
having that meeting that, okay, how do we plan for the school year? So what do they look in this plan? What should be there?
Now, in this plan, this is a plan you want to have like a week or 2 weeks before the school year. Like, okay, finally, let's sit down and have something that we can document. Because sometimes we think we should just think these things in our head and leave it there. We want to document them. Okay. So we have a vision that we can all run with.
So it's not like being in the kitchen.
Yes.
So what is your plan for this school year?
No, but it could be like that. It could be like that. You don't want to make it something serious, right? When you finish that, while in the kitchen, you're taking your notes, right? Even if it's mental, you're taking your notes. After that, you can even say to the child, if the child is old enough, okay, could you put this down so that we have a document that we can run with? Something we can put somewhere and we continue to see to remind us of what our goals are. Okay, so basically you want to do things like, because for me, I mean, I want to say this to parents all the time, your goals for your child should go beyond that they're passing math, English, science, and all of that. So you want to look at life skills. Yes, because, I mean, research has shown that children need, I mean, not children, as human beings, right? It's only about 80%, I mean 20% of hard skills that we need to actually survive or to excel. It's more like soft skills, 80% of soft skills. So you want to put in life skills in there. You want to put in probably something about you want to teach them your beliefs. Very important, isn't it? You want to teach them about your beliefs. So that should be a part of your goal for the school year. You want to teach them some life skills. That should be a part of your goal. You want to build some structure that will allow your children gain independence so that you're not micromanaging your home. Such, you know, in some cases, you wake up in the morning, you're yelling all over the place. Has he had his bath? Is the food ready? And all of that.
Because the structure is not there.
The structure is not there, and you have to be there to drive it. But when you have structures in place, people have duties, there are routines, there is a schedule. With that, I mean, all you need to do is practice for the first couple of days, weeks maybe. But as they practice, they will gain stamina. And with time, you will find out you can relax. But because each person wakes up and they know, okay, wake-up time is at 6 a.m. After 6 a.m., I like to do blocks, you know. I like to do like blocks in my schedule. I like to do blocks. So I could go like 6 to 6:30 is dress your bed, have a bath, and then come out for prayers. You know. Then you have another block. Breakfast, lunch, breakfast, devotion, a short one, and then affirmation. And then we're out. So when you have those blocks, the children know, okay? So it doesn't, I mean, you don't have to be shouting. You just know, all you need to do is you go into the room, probably, you know, have like an alarm clock that wakes them up at 6 o'clock.
So this conversation must be in that plan that we're having.
In that plan.
Before it's school resumption.
Yes,
so okay, let's assume that you've not done that as school as resumed. Today is weekend. Okay, so we can you can have this talk immediately after the show.
Absolutely. It's never too late.
Okay, so that block, so what do we do? So you need to agree with them. Okay, what is convenient?
Yes.
Waking up at 5:30 or waking up at 6?
Exactly. What time do you think you can, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, when we work with children, we should work with children with a lot of whys. So why do we need to wake up at this time, right? Okay, we need to sleep at 9, so you can have a whole 9 hours of sleep, right? Then we wake up at, so what time do you think is best for you? Then the kids will be like, okay, 6 o'clock, 6:30.
Someone even tell you 4 o'clock, say, Mommy, do you get wake up?
Then you're missing it out. Okay, how much time do we need to get to school? 20 minutes. Okay, we need to factor that in. So by the time you do that, you see, you have dialogue, you're having a conversation with your children.
And like I own this arrangement also.
Exactly.
Sense of responsibility.
Absolutely. You know, so when they are not meeting up, you can actually say to them, hey, sweetie, we agreed. I mean, you're not imposing anything. We agreed, you know. So you can wake up, you go into the room, and you're not shouting, you're not yelling. You just go, oh, it's 6 o'clock, you got 30 minutes. And then you come in, I don't think you're being fast enough. You got another, I mean, we have just 15 minutes left. So that way you see you are a team. Nobody's feeling bad. Nobody is being yelled at. Nobody, you know, everybody feels responsible.
Okay, so we've gotten to agree now that that plan is important, because some people, after stating this, we know it is key. We need to have that plan. not only talking about it, writing it
yes,
down.
afterwards you write it
and
down,
placing it somewhere where we can all see.
Absolutely.
So maybe like in front of the door.
Absolutely, in front of the door, somewhere by their wardrobe, somewhere where they see it
by
every
TV.
time. I like to put it right on the fridge, like you just put it there with.
When you're watching, you see. When you're watching the TV, we keep harassing them with it, but it's just to help them build their subconscious, because the attention span of children is very short. So seeing helps them, to develop
He helps them. I mean, their senses take it in. The eyes will take it in. Every time they pass, they're seeing it, and then it registers really in their subconscious, as you said. And then, the soft prompts and the soft reminders are good too. As you keep reminding them, you keep prompting them, you find that with time, it's practice, it's consistency. As you keep doing that, they now imbibe it. And with time, you're not yelling and all of that. The reason why we yell in the morning, I don't know if it didn't happen to you. It happened to me a lot until I got my acts together. That morning yelling. And at the end, you yell, the child leaves the house. Sometimes some of them will get whooped in the morning. Somebody will go.
Well, I realized that with girls, for me, with girls it was easier.
Okay.
They just have this sense of, okay, I'm waking up, I'm doing this, they don't want any trouble. But my boy, no, it wasn't like that. When you say wake up, you say, I'm coming.
I want to boot. That's how my son puts it. Let me boot.
Just give me a few minutes. And then you get back again. You are still there. I'm coming now. And then they will wake up and take the time and move, So I experienced that, and I had to deal with it, handle it, and then I put him in a school bus. So school bus was now more difficult, and even for me too, I felt like, God, what am I doing to this child? He's the first to be picked and the last to be dropped. And sometimes school bus can have, anything can happen on the way. And so I said to myself, I don't understand what you're doing in the house when this child is going to school.
So you
understand? So I told myself, I said, if I want him to succeed and do well, then I need to play my role. So I took it upon myself that, okay, fine, let's do it this way. Father, you pick back from school. I do this. And it helped me to also get to my office on time. And while we were going, we had a lot of discussion. So we had so many things to talk about, so many things to prepare our minds the previous days or anything, So I took it upon myself, okay, fine. So we need to leave on time. So when you know that both of us are leaving home the same time,
you would have to
help ourselves to get ready, to beat traffic, and also get to school on time. Fun. So after this plan, it's execution. Because it's one thing to plan and to have all that set in place. But we also know, even as a nation, that most of our problems are not just the policies, written down, but the implementation. So how do we go about implementing this fantastic plan that we've written down and pasted everywhere in the house?
That's why I said consistency is key. And if you are a parent today and you still think that parenting is an instinct, or you still think that parenting is an easy feat, then you're wrong. That's the truth. Parenting is not an easy feat, and it's something that you would have to drive. So it can't happen without practice. That is how consistency is built. Practice, 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 practice. So as I said, the subtle reminders, the prompts. So that's what you do. That's what the teachers do in school. That's what teachers do in school. They start teaching a topic on Monday. They teach that topic on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, up to Friday. The child gets to, let's say the child is in year 1, he gets to year 2. Let's say we're looking at fractions. He gets to year 2. Fractions is repeated again. And it's taught over, throughout year 2. He gets to year 3. It's repetition. Repetition, consistency, and all of that. That's how children learn. So you can't get tired of repeating. So when you hear parents say things like, you have to shout because these children, I've told them before. No, it's a child.
How many times
the child is being a child.
Yes,
the child is being a child. It will happen. So you just need to work on yourself so that you can remind them calmly and easily. And when you do that, it sticks better. We don't know that. The truth is, it sticks better when we apply ourselves, calmly, and we keep doing the reminders. With time, it will stick. But we're never patient. That's the thing.
Oh, yes. Patience.
Patience
is a virtue. Is something that, as parents, we need a lot of it.
We need a lot
and
of
then
patience.
when you also need what we call emotional intelligence.
Oh,
Why?
absolutely.
Because our children differ. Their traits, their character, their personality differ. So you need to learn how to deal with all of them.
Yeah.
We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation to tell you what else should you put in place after the preparation, pre-preparation and preparation stages of back to school. We'll take a short break. Please don't go away.
New year, new gear. New you, we going back to school. Come on. New year, new gear. New you, come on. I'm going BTS. Last night before school, I find it hard to rest. But I know one thing, I'm about to be fresh. Fresh year, fresh mindset, I'm the best. So before I go to bed, I have to check. Make sure my supplies are already set. So I'm like, paper, check. Pencil, check. Notebook, check. Mindset, success. SUCCESS. When I get to school, find my friends, shake hands. Talk about the summer and all the fun things we did with our fam, vacations and memories. Look, my mind is a gold mine. Summer's over, so it's go time. I'm ready to go back. Put on my thinking cap and keep my backpack organized like thinking maps. And when I see my new teacher, hello. And when I see a new student, hello. And when I see my principal, hello. BTS, y'all, come on. New year, new gear. New you, we going back to school. Come on. New year, new gear. New you, come on. We back to school, we work, we grind, that's right, we back to school, get A's, okay, all day,
yeah, a brand new year, I'm gonna give my best, first gotta get the new shoes, cause I stay fresh, new backpack, I got my supplies, I got everything I need, so my grades are rise, hey, no more sleeping in, every day I wake up early, summertime's over, now I'm back at school with my friends, new year, but I'm not worried, new teacher, yes sir. Same school or a new school. Make new friends, why? Cause I'm back at school. Turn it up with friends at lunchtime. Or telling jokes standing in the lunch line. Telling stories about your vacation. Racing to your class new year, you are amazing. Plan to be better than I was last year. With a better mindset this year, yeah.
New year, new gear. New you, we going back to school. Come on. New year, new gear. New you, come on. We back to school, we work, we grind, that's right, we back to school, get A's, okay, all day, all my elementary schools, put your crayons up, junior high, middle schools, keep your grades up, all my high schools, put your pens up, college students, grad students, stand up, we back to school, we work, we grind, that's right, we back to school, get A's, okay, all day.
It's JoJo when it's my every year. My goal is valedictorian for my last year. That's right, it's time for me to go BTS. Like my classes, then it's time for me to ace my test. Going for honor roll, 5th year in a row. You already know how this goes. New swag, new class. Oh, with the bells ringing, got a blast.
All right, welcome back. It's still the Transformational Parenting Show. How we're talking about back to school. Oh my God, you were saying to me that I never really planned for all the things I'm hearing today. That's why it's the show. Transformation means being open and ready to learn, to change things, to adjust things, to evolve. And truly, the world is evolving. And you have to, if you remain in your defaults, that, oh, nobody told me what to do. There's so many things contending with parenting and the attention of our children. So that's why in this generation, we need to be present and be there in their lives. So we have identified having a plan, you know, as number one. You need to, if you want your child to have a successful session or year in school, you have to have a proper plan. And part of the plan should be, when do we wake up? Structure. Putting in the structure in place. When do we wake up? Constantly making sure that it works. That is the most important thing. And my guest, Marabeth Chima, she said, consistency is important if we need to help our children have a successful year and get back to school to settle down. Okay, so we've talked about establishing all this structure on ground. And then the children are back in school. Week 1, week 2, you know. What is supposed to be our role? Because it's one thing to go back to school. Don't forget that this period is very unique. Or like before we say, okay, summer, we're just coming back from. But the difference now, the uniqueness about this is that there was a COVID. You know, and the students stayed at home for so long. Now, some didn't only just stay at home. Some were exposed to online learning. So they knew how to sit down, cross their leg with a cup of coffee and some biscuits, and they're learning. You know, some of them don't even have to wear uniforms, and they just stay there and maybe boxers on there for boys, you know, and then they just learn. So there's a distortion in their methods of learning. So what should be our role as parents in helping the students settle back in school?
Anyway, for me, because I tell people a lot of time, you see, my idea of school is so different from a lot of people's idea of school. So I feel the relaxed relaxed atmosphere that COVID created to learning, that is actually the real deal. Children should relax and learn. Do you get? They should relax and learn. Now, getting them back into that whole scheme of school and everything is still your structure. You just need to tweak whatever it is that they did. I mean, during COVID, they slept and woke up when they wanted to wake and all of that. Now it is school. They have to be in school at a particular time. They have to be in school till a particular time. Then they come home. The structures, your activities in the mornings, and then your evening routines, all that comes in place. So when you have your evening routines, just like your morning routines, then they know, okay, I come back from school, and then I have this 1 hour to rest and do nothing. My children play. I don't joke with play, outdoor plays, maybe because my kids are still under 12, right? So you just go, first of all, you come in and you rest for 30 minutes. You do nothing else, no nothing, just lie down. Then after that, you eat, and then, you know, then go out and play. Let children just play. But this is still within a time limit. Then you know the homework is from 6 to 6:30. So now the children know this, they've agreed and all of that. So, hey, you have a way of going.
Oh, so we're not only planning morning, we're planning evening.
You're planning the whole day. You're planning the whole day. Let them just know. And this thing is not it's not such regiment that, you know, it's not like you're not like you're caning them around. It's just you have blocks for everything, so that we're taking care of every aspect of their lives. So we're not leaving anything. That's the point. The point is not leaving anything out. So while they are relaxing, while they are playing, they're still taking care of the things that they need to take care of to excel in school. But all of these in a relaxed, not particularly regimental way. But you see, what we have is children will go to school, they come back, we'll take them to one lesson, they come back, a lesson teacher is still waiting at home and all of that. All these things, we think that we're doing them so much good because we want to get academics on point. But hey, it's a total child that you're trying to form, isn't it? This takes away. And a lot of times, these things are not even retained because it's a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of this, a bit of that. But when the child learns to relax, there's time to rest. There's time to play. It's time to do all of that. When he sits to learn, he is relaxed. The brain is rested and it's able to take in more, as opposed to this whole jump here, jump there, jump there. So it's still back to your structures the structure you have in place that will help them, you know, help them ease into the new I mean, the new back to school.
So after
whatever.
dinner now, let's say dinner is about 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, so after dinner, what do we do? Do we have a TV time? Do we have family time? You know, how do we build before they go to bed? Because I know that sleep is important.
Yeah, very.
For the development and growth of any child. So that's when I know it differs for families. But when do you think, and then does it have to do with age? Like maybe for teenagers, I will consider going to bed maybe later than I will consider the younger kids. So what structure after dinner?
All right, for me, as I said, my kids are still under 12, right? My kids are still under 12, so I don't have the teenager, you know, right now. But I still feel, right? I don't have
from 10 to 15 now, yes.
It's a preteen, right? Yeah, but I still feel, right, when you've had this structure and they've gone through it for a long time, all you need to do is just tweak it a little here, a little there. Maybe as a teenager, he probably needs to study a little longer, right? And he wants to like stretch it a little longer. But whatever you do, I still feel every child should sleep for at least 9 hours.
Doctor says 8 hours.
They say 8. Okay, maybe because my kids are still young. I do 9. For adults, I think the 8 is for adults.
So
right?
one more hour
yeah,
for
I still
kids.
feel, you know,
Okay.
there's a scale really for different ages. But I still feel the average child should sleep at least for 9 hours. So whatever it is, let's try and get into bed like early enough so that you can rejuvenate basically. But you see, the TV for us, TV doesn't work during the week, so it's out. It's out. And I know a lot of parents struggle with that TV thing,
time,
you know, especially when the kids are hooked on it. What I say to those kind of parents is, okay, the kids are hooked on TV. What you want to do, you don't want to go like cold turkey, like instantly they will rebel. Do you understand? They will rebel. So what you want to do is you want to start reducing it gradually, but have that meeting. You can't stop having those conversations with your children. These conversations are key. Let them know why. Why? Let children know why. Then put it to them, like put it to them. Would you rather rest and, you know, have your mind fresh and all of that, you know, so that you do better in school the next day, or your body, I mean, you don't fall sick and all of that, or just watch TV, the same TV that you can have during the weekend. When you reason with them like that, with time they begin to understand. And then the other thing is, you don't even just take TV without putting other things to take the place of TV. So that's where the structure still
accommodate back.
Do you understand? So good. So that's where the structure still comes in. So imagine your child comes back from school at say 3, and you have a whole 2 hours of outdoor play. Where's the TV going to come in? You come in at 3, you have rested, you know, you have had lunch and all that. Let's say you have a bit of after-school activity probably for 1 hour, say from 4 to 5. Then you go out and play from 5 to 6. Where is TV going to come in? Or 5 to 6:30. You come in, you help in the kitchen to make dinner. You know, you let them make it fun. Let them come into the kitchen with you. Or you get the cube, you get the salt, you know, and you're doing and you're talking. That's when you have those conversations. If you're a parent that is available at that time, have those conversations. How was school today? So what happened? I mean, you can start with yourself. Do you know what happened to me at work today? And then you get into that mood. You're talking to them. What you're doing is you're inviting them to talk to you too. When you're free and you're talking to your children and telling them how your day was and all of that, they will likely say to you, oh, mommy, do you understand? Or daddy, whatever. You know, and before you know, you're having those conversations. And it's 7. It's 7, they're eating, and they will be tired too. After 2 hours of play, you're tired. So you see how you have eliminated TV without even struggling. And then gradually, you take it away. But you know, sometimes we go, you see, I mean, at 8:30, children are still struggling to watch TV, the same kids that will go to school the next day. So it's a must that we do something about TV, you know, especially for our younger kids.
You know, I tell people, children, they model what you model to them.
Exactly.
So you can't tell a child, do what I say,
when you're not doing.
And you're not doing that same thing.
Absolutely.
So raising children of this generation is not do what I say, it's do what I do. So if you want to get them off TV, I think first of all you should start
get off TV too.
Not renewing that subscription. It's as simple as that. So when it expires, please don't renew the subscription so that you can also discipline yourself. Because for someone like me, I don't accommodate television in rooms.
Okay.
Okay. And I started with me. If you ask my kids, they say, oh, she doesn't have TV in her room.
Okay.
Because her room is a sanctuary. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Her room is a sanctuary. That's where she wants to think. So when I want to think, when I want to read, when I want to do certain things, and the minute I move into my room, you know that I'm not in that world of TV. And if you're able to discipline yourself, so it will be easy for your children to model discipline. Okay? So now we have agreed that part of the things we need to do is plan the evening also with them. Okay, how do we get involved in their schoolwork?
Good. Now, for schoolwork now, I was going...
Because these are all the planning we must do.
Yes, so it's the planning we need to do. Now, there's something that we take for granted, right? The first day of school. The first day of school is a big one for me, right? Especially for the younger kids. I say a lot of times that that's the day that you meet your child's teacher at her best. That's the day you meet the teachers at the best. That's the day the teacher is meeting the child for the first time. We need connection. For your child to do well in school, they need to connect with the person that is going to be your new partner for the school year. I mean, we take it for granted, but that new teacher is going to be the other voice in your child's head. Your child is with this person for 8 straight hours, thereabouts, at least between 6 and 8 hours. So whatever you're saying at home is as strong as what this person is saying. The person that the child is listening to for 6 to 8 hours every day for 5 days. You know, so that's why you see the kids come sometimes and you tell them to do one thing and they'll tell you, my teacher said. Because that voice is strong in the head of the child. So you need to connect with this person, and your child needs to connect with this person. So I say, the first day, let the child go to school on the first day of school, where the teacher is at her best, where she's giving her best impression, where she's coming. You connect, because I can say this as a teacher, because sometimes the first 2, 3 kids that come into the class on the first day, you're meeting them, you connect with them and you find that that connection stays throughout the school year. I don't know how it happens. It just happens. You're not planning it. It just happens. So you want your child to connect with the teacher, on the day that they're at their best, before they start pulling their hair. You know, by the time 23 children come into your class and all that different thing. So you need that connection, and then you need that conversation. That first day, you know, you want to assure the teacher that I am here, I'm in the life of my child, I am present, I'm ready to work with you, whatever you need. I mean, you want to create that channel for communication. You want to establish
you can actually share your goals and expectations for yourself.
Exactly. So you want to establish that, open that line of communication with the child, with the parent, teacher on that first day. And then apart from that, with the kids in class, the children connect on the first day. So you find that the child who's coming on the 3rd day sometimes feels left out, because there's already a relationship that's been established with the ones that are there. Do you understand? So we take it for granted, but the first day of school is a good time for your child to go to school. I have never kept my child at home on the first day of school. They go to school on the first day, except it is absolutely, impossible. But you see, parents will keep them and say nothing is happening in school, because we always think happening is math and English. We're so stuck on this academic part of our children's education.
Do you understand? About social
academics, I say to parents, the academic of your child is just one drop in the ocean of your child's education. One drop. So why pay attention to one thing out of so many other things? Just as you said, social, psychology, connections, all of these things, you know.
So, during one of my leadership camp for the young ones, there was the one we did, the leadership camp for the girls. There was this particular girl that kept saying, I don't have friends. How do I make friends? She kept asking the question, how do I make friends?
So you see,
I don't have friends. How do I do this? And then the children in the camp were like surprised. But they said, but we are your friends. We're here. He said, but how do I make friends? So she feels that there has to be there's blueprint of how to make friends. And I just stayed afar watching the conversation. And then some of them said, okay, you know what, what's your interest? Wow. What do you love to do?
See how they want to help each other.
They wanted to help. We do that in our Transform Teams Academy. We're all from people. So one said, okay, your friends, what's your best subject? What do you know best? You can connect with people
Based
of like
on
mind.
that.
You can connect. So to every young child, friendship is important.
No, friendship is important.
So when you take them away from that, you're denying them something that will help develop relationships, which is key in every child. And when you don't do that, your child feels lonely and depressed. And you think the child is just being calm and quiet. No.
Exactly.
That child is suffering from a low self-esteem.
Absolutely.
Which is being built by you not knowing that it is key
helping the child in that
to
area.
develop their social skills.
You know how sometimes you hear parents say, oh, she doesn't like to make friends and all of that. I ask them a lot of times, are you sure there's no esteem issue there? You know, because a lot of times children don't have well-developed social skills. So they get into a gathering or they get into a place, and what you do, you see them carry their phone, and that's it. That's it. They're on the phone. Teenagers are on the phone like the whole time you are at a social gathering.
It's
because, it's not necessarily that even, Auntie. It's not because nothing is interesting. It's because they don't know how to break the ice. They don't know how to start conversations. They don't know how to have conversations with people who are older than them or people who are about their age. So, hey, the phone is a safe haven. They just bury their face there, and because of that, they don't get to.
So part of the thing we need to teach them to stabilize is go ahead, it's okay to have
friends and make friends and all of that. Because hey, this is how business connections are made. This is how deals are brokered. This is how you meet. This is how people who are successful. You're successful by the relationships and the connections and all of that that you have. So how are you going to do that if the child is not learning how to break ice and how to start conversations and how to get into circles and all of that? So these things are really very, very, important. So you were saying, you asked about the academics. Now the other thing is, I say to parents, you want to create a stimulating environment in your home. A stimulating environment such that you need to teach, your children need to see learning as something that happens everywhere beyond their classroom. The reason, you hear children say sometimes when you come home and you want to teach them, they tell you, no, you're not my teacher. Young kids will say that to their parents, right? You're not my teacher. Or you tell the child to do it in a particular way, and she says, no, my teacher did not say that. It's because your child does not view you as a teacher. But as a parent, you're your child's number one teacher. So if you actually create an atmosphere in your home where learning happens at home also, where you are teaching, even if it's life skills alone you're teaching, even if it's, Bible, kingdom life, your beliefs and all of that you're teaching, and you take time to do that, and your child is learning, he understands that you don't have to sit down, fix your eyes on a board for learning to happen. So he knows that learning happens everywhere. So you need to create an atmosphere or an environment in your home that is stimulating. So what I do with the kids is I have a room where I have art materials. So we have an allocation for resources every month. So I actually will buy, if you go in there, you will see stack of cardboard papers. They like to do stuff with boxes, Indomie box and all of that. They have those, but they never throw them. So they have those boxes. We have styrophones. You should see me sometimes. I will be jogging in the morning or taking walks in the morning, and I will see, the styrofoam that people have bought, their free refrigerators and all of that. They've dumped, provided it's not a dirty place. I just look at it, and when I finish my work, I put them in the corner. When I finish my work, I go carry them. My husband sees me and is like, what's all this? What's these drugs? What's all this now? But hey, the kids need to get busy. You understand? So we have a store of styrofoam, behind the house, just so that it's not inside. So there are times we want to create stuff, and I come in, I'm like, okay, let's create stuff. And my daughter is like, I want to build a house. All we need to do is burn it, and then cut it into a house, and they're creating stuff. You're stimulating. They are exploring, right? You're allowing them explore. You're allowing them create things on their own. You're allowing them broaden their mind. When you do that, you're stimulating the child, and the child, that's what it takes. When you stimulate enough, when learning is happening, it's easy for them to connect with their learning because the brain is already stimulated and ready for learning.
So the only way you can now become the most, I tell parents actually, be the first most reliable source of information
absolutely
to your children. So it's not about asking the children, I've provided these items, go and play, go and do your thing. You have to be involved.
Yes, even we understand that for some parents, they don't have all this time, because some parents will say to you, oh, it's because you're a teacher, it's because you have an education background, or it's because you have time. It's not, I mean, I've not always been a teacher. I've been a banker at some point, I've been a development officer at some point and all of that. And my first was about 4 or 5 before I even got into education and all that. Basically, it's making up your mind to create time, prioritizing. I mean, life is about priority, and the things that are our priorities we make time for. So if your child happens to sit there high on the list of a priority, you will make time for that child. So, and this time doesn't necessarily have to be 4 hours every day, 2 hours every day, 1 hour every day.
Not
quality of it. It could even be this thing we're saying, make time and create this thing. It could be just 30 minutes every Saturday. We just know that on Saturday we create stuff together. On Saturday we try to play out what you have learned in school, you know. And then it's not just creating those things. You want to have conversations about what's happening. I mean, we're doing, what do you call it, NSAS. I mean, it's a great opportunity for conversation.
First of all, know what their mindset.
Oh my God, what do they think? What do they know is happening? We
have
had this conversation with the kids. We've been having the conversation with the kids for the last 4 days. My kids are 11 and 5, almost 11 and 5. So we've been having these conversations, you know, in the last couple of days. Now, my book, Bedtime Stories for Champion, it's at, supposed to bring you a copy. Oh my goodness,
you owe me.
Yes, I do owe you. And also, Bedtime Stories for Champion has conversations. It helps you begin conversations with your children, okay, based on people who inspire them. So it's a collection of inspiring stories of young people doing amazing things. So because of all that is happening, I've been reading a lot about Nigerians who are doing amazing things. Chimamanda, you know, Silas Odukoya, you know, people like this. Just to say to them, you know, there's a lot that is happening in the nation right now. And that's because we came from somewhere. And all of a sudden, where our goal or where our destination should be, we have vied away from. So now we know that there can be a better Nigeria, and that is why the youth are probably out there asking for this better Nigeria.
And also,
but
it helps you to know your child's perspective.
Yes.
Towards things.
Because you're asking them, what do you think is happening out there? What do you think?
Find them go out of the shores of this nation and don't want to have anything to do with Nigeria. So we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be rounding up the program. And if you have any question you want to ask, please do send us a mail on transformationalparenting@gmail.com, or you go to our Facebook page, Transformational Parenting Network, and leave a message or try to connect us. The conversation definitely continues on those platforms. But whatever you do, don't keep silent. Parenting is a community. And now everybody knows that enough of the high fence we build, or enough of silence, hiding things, it no longer works. If you want the best for your children, then you need to connect with like minds, and that's what the world community has become. All right, so we'll take a short break. When we come back, we will be ending the program and giving you those little things that you can begin with. Exactly. Please don't go away.
My sister's going back, my brother's going back, even my teacher's going back to school. Raina's going back, Dan is going back, Maya's going back to school. Well, it's the end of summer, every some night it's a bummer, but I just can't wait to get back to school. Back to school, back to school. I just can't wait to get back to school. I am telling you the lies, I've got my food supplies, and I just can't wait to get back to school. Fisher's going back, Devon is going back, Brooks is going back to school. Jasmine's going back, Malik is going back, Julian is going back to school. Juan is going back, Ella's going back, Sophie's going back to school. I picked my first day outfit, I wanna tell you about it, but I just back to school. I've got new snacks.